Today's video, we're going to talk about how many negative keywords for AdWords or Google Ads is ideal for making the most profit from your ads. What's too many? What's too little? That's what I'm going to cover in today's video. I am Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, PPC Management, and Ad Management Agency. We're the only agency in the world that offers a guarantee of results with the services that we provide. That is, if you don't hit a certain increase in profitability from your ads up front, there is no management fee that our agency charges. With that said, I've been running the agency itself for 10 years and have 20 years of overall online marketing experience and advertising experience to provide you the data and information I'm providing you on this video here today. So with that said, I am going to go through here to answer the question that's presented to you in the title of this video, of course. How many negative keywords do you need to be able to make the most money? How many negative keywords are going to need to make some money? And how I actually go, and then with going into detail, how I set up the negative keywords, because without that information, you're not going to really be able to walk away from this video with the true system that I know you're longing for, that we use to guarantee results for clients at our advertising agency here. So, and then with that, if you stay to the end of the video, I will talk about how much extra money you can make by doing things the way that I do it here at our agency compared to doing it the half-ass way that most people are going to do with their ads, how much that makes. So with that said, it doesn't take as many negative keywords as it used to with Google Ads / AdWords. And the reason for that is actually something that I heard nobody else talking about. And I can speak on this, and I'm qualified to speak on it because I manage dozens of accounts at any given time, and I've managed probably 1,000 altogether. If I go back and counted them all up over time, I've been doing this since 2005 on Google Ads. It's 20 years altogether. Or 19. And with that said, okay, negative keywords were more like, you literally had to add a negative keyword for every search phrase you didn't want your ads to show up for before. Nowadays, because Google Ads has slowly transitioned over running off of an algorithmic model to decide if an ad should show up for somebody or not, looks at users on an individual level more so than just using the keywords, understanding like what websites they've been in the past, to what they've said physically. With a Google app installed with their phone, yes, Google apps are going to spy on you, where you've physically been with that app on your phone geographically, and so forth. They use this information to identify if your ad should show up for something or not. The reason why I bring that up is because the negative keywords are tied into like the same system, if you will. That is, if you add a few negative keywords, that will be used as a sort of like a signal that Google will decide should your ad show up for a certain grouping of search terms for people searching on Google versus another. You can get by with a lot less negative keywords because, basically, let's say if you do not want to show up for people typing in your competitor's name on Google, which if you're in any kind of local service market or national service market, that's basically the rule for the most part, with exceptions, and at the very least, with your typical campaigns you're running that are not set up to monetize competitor traffic exclusively, because it'll take a different strategy to do that. You start adding the negative keywords of your competitors, what you'll notice is after adding, let's say you have 1,000 pest control companies in the greater NYC area. You add negative keywords for 100, you're going to suddenly see of the 900 that you haven't added a negative keyword for, you start showing up for a lot less. That's the best way I can kind of describe this concept of negative keywords are more so like a suggestion or a signal to Google's algorithm that decides if your ad should show up for somebody or not, particularly when you're using smart bidding, because with smart bidding, the system's all trying to get you a lead at a certain cost that you're looking for, or the most leads, or a certain ROI that you're looking for, and it will use that negative keyword information to train the algorithm to get you the results that you're looking for and then scale that campaign. So you don't need to work quite as hard. Now that said, doesn't mean you don't need to work. You don't have to work quite as hard as you did in the past to get the really good results, or should I say, max out the results you can get on Google Ads. With that, a few hundred negative keywords will generally do the job nowadays. Before, you needed thousands because it was so literal in how it worked, and the negative keywords weren't there to train an algorithm per se. That is, though, the big caveat there, and there's a big if there, you're not talking about using broad or sometimes even phrase match keywords because, okay, so when we set up campaigns at our advertising firm where we got to guarantee results for our clients, we're going to typically either run ads with phrase match or exact match, not broad match, because broad match shows up for way too much random shit, and at the very least, not until we can't get a single dollar or dime level of additional profit from our ads on phrase match, and which is what you should be doing as well. So with that though, because the way that we're structured here is I do the strategy for the clients, I work with clients, I have a whole team of people that help us execute. I tell my team to build our campaigns out either with exact match only or exact and phrase match together in the same ad groups, because we use single keyword ad groups where we have only one keyword in each ad group, which if you want the best results and want to make millions of dollars from what you're doing, that's what you want to do as well, because it'll beat your competition, which is what you need to do to make millions of dollars running ads for your business. And with that said, we'll run exact and phrase in the same ad group at the very beginning, because it's tough to know for sure which way it's going to go if you're not familiar with the market yet. And with that, what we'll do is we'll run the campaign and we'll look at the search terms report, or should I say I will, and I will just see how the search terms are shaping up. Is it we're showing up for a bunch of random we shouldn't show up for, or is the searches pretty much on point? We are showing up for random stuff. The first thing I do, instead of adding negative keywords, is I shut down the phrase match version of all the keywords that are in our campaign, so that right away it'll nip in the bud showing up for all the random stuff. And the reason why we do that, of course, is, if it's not obvious already, it's going to take a long time to add enough negative keywords to make the campaigns not show up for all this, just draining our money, draining our budget. And ultimately, it's like an immediate thing that we can do that'll immediately get things back into check, or in check. So, and then we'll just run exact match until we can't make enough money. Then we'll add the phrase match in later, given we probably added some more negative keywords between now and then. And when we activate them again, it'll run more efficient. And we've got money on deck that we've made so that if our phrase match keywords are showing up for a bunch of random stuff we don't want, and we got to add a lot of negative keywords to not have it show up for stuff that we don't want, we have some runway to do it. We can lose some money to gather the data, to know what negative keywords to add, so that the phrase match version of the same keywords that we're targeting in the exact match will run efficiently enough to make money from them. And the same thing actually applies if we're talking about broad match. To get to that level, which out of 50 accounts that I'm managing right now, we have exactly one where we use broad match, which should tell you something about broad match in general. Again, because you only use that when you can't scale a campaign anymore. And it'll help you scale more when phrase match, mainly because it'll find keyword ideas that you would have never thought about in your wildest dreams. And you find something that works there, and then that can be used to your campaigns that target phrase and exact match and scale those a little bit more. And it's like idea generation more than anything, really. That and broad match works kind of like, it doesn't rely so much on what people are searching for. It just relies on, going back to what I was saying before, studying everything that's happened in the past with an individual, like what sites they've been to. Have they been to a competitor site? Oh, they've been on that competitor site. So even though they search for something that's not quite what you're targeting as a keyword in a literal sense, it knows that it could probably get a conversion if it just threw the ad in front of that person. So I know I'm getting a bit off track here, but with that all said, okay, you don't need to add as many negative keywords. What you always need to do if you're going to be serious about getting your results and not waste too much money in the beginning, so that perhaps don't run out of money before your campaigns are at least at break-even profitability, that you start with the most conservative match type possible, exact match, then when that can't make more money for you, you go ahead and go with phrase, and only then, and that'll fix a lot of problems right up front, that you don't have to then necessarily rely on negative keywords and panic and waste a bunch of money trying to add them as quickly as possible. But then, even then, you go in daily when you activate that campaign, add more negative keywords. The next day, you check the search terms report, you add more negatives. You do that pretty much for the first 30 days. And after you've done that, for the most part, if you've been doing that every day for 30 days, and you don't have a micro budget of like $5 a day or something, it's like $100 a day, you'll pretty much see that 90% of the search terms report that you're looking at is all where it needs to be. It's not, that is, you don't see irrelevant stuff there that you shouldn't show up for, that will never in a million years develop and bring you a customer at the end of the day. And so with that though, what I'll do is I classify / categorize negative keywords into 3 basic categories. which I've got listed here for you, which is general/irrelevant terms, just totally irrelevant terms, info terms, that is people who are looking for information only. So if you're doing gastric bypass surgery and you're generating leads for that, for a gastric bypass surgery clinic, people looking for, does gastric bypass surgery work? It's not somebody that can't bring us a lead. It's just not somebody who's ready to hire somebody yet. So we want to block them, at least at this stage. And if we have a separate negative keyword list just for those terms, and we get to a point where the buying searches, gastric bypass clinic, gastric bypass surgery doctors, tapped all that out, then you could try to monetize the info searches with, probably in that scenario, you have to give them an article to read, which shows them why your clinic's the best slowly and surely throughout that article. By the way, most people don't understand that. They just, if an ad that pitches their product or service directly doesn't work for a keyword, they just don't target that keyword, which you just need a different approach for different keywords. You can't just have one approach for everything. And if you do, you're going to leave a lot of times 90% of the money on the table, given that most searches are related to info, people looking for information. And there's only just a small window of time where they actually go to hire a doctor, they're making a search, and then there's a whole bunch more searches where people are looking for information. And if you learn how to monetize that, you can really take things. But anyway, back to the issue at hand, we'll have a negative keyword list, that anything info related goes onto that list so that we can exclude that list if we want to target those terms later on. And it's easy and convenient to do so. And then we have a separate negative keyword list for competitor terms. That, for the same reasons, that is, if we want to target competitor searches at a later point in time, which takes its own unique approach to generally get working, we can easily exclude that list and do it with that campaign. Negative keyword lists, we always use those because it makes it easy to throw up a new campaign and immediately transfer all the negative keywords into that new campaign. You obviously could do it even if you didn't use a negative keyword list or negative keyword list, but it's pretty damn convenient at the very least. And so that's how we'll do the negative keywords. Now, along with that, we'll also, when I add my negative keywords, people say, Corey, how do you do your negative keywords? Do you do an exact match, broad match, whatever? And the answer to them, I say, is both, actually. I'm going to, if I have, going back to the gastric bypass surgery clinic, which is a real client we work with in the past, or industry we work with, if somebody's typing in free gastric bypass surgeries, gastric bypass surgery grants, which that happens in that space. There's a lot of people who want that service who think the gastric bypass surgery gods is going to offer that to them for free for whatever reason. With that said, if I see free gastric bypass surgery clinics in the search terms report, I don't just add free gastric bypass surgery clinics as a negative keyword. I am going to add, yes, I will. I absolutely do that with the brackets around it so that I don't accidentally block stuff that I don't want to block, because there's obviously only one word difference between a good search and a bad search. They use free at the beginning, we don't want them. If they don't use the word free, but it's gastric bypass clinics, we do want them. So the only way to not overextend yourself and have to block bad stuff and then block some of your good stuff, so you're cutting off and nipping part of your long-term potential of customers you can tap into on Google, you will target as a negative keyword in brackets free gastric bypass surgery clinics, but also you'll add the word free as a broad match negative keyword, just the word free. Why? Because it's not so cut and dry like you would think. I wish it was. But for the most part, anybody using the word free from now on, you won't show up for that at all. Purpose of adding the exact match version of the negative keyword that if free will cover everything. Well, the reality is it isn't so cut and dry, and you'll have the most likely chance of not showing up for that term anymore if you have it in exact match and you have it in broad match. Both. You'll have the most respectively. So we're going to add both. That surprisingly, if you add free as a broad match negative keyword, it'll still show up for some stuff with free in it, but less. And so with that, going back to what I was saying before, it's more so these negative keywords are like a signal to the algorithm that decides if you show up for some, and if you don't, or if you shouldn't. And adding the word free and broad match, it's like a signal. Do not show up for free. But not only that, what I've found is it'll stop showing up for free and grants and stuff that means free, like adjectives. It's not so cut and dry. But on the flip side, it'll keep having your stuff show up for free, even though in theory it shouldn't, because it's added as a broad match negative. Your best bet is to, ultimately, like I said, add the term itself, and then any individual word in the term that you don't want anything to do with that, and add it as an individual single word broad match negative keyword as well. That'll train the algorithm to steer it in the direction you want it to go, the best way that we found how. Which, by the way, a lot of this is obviously a lot of work. If you just want somebody that's competent, that can go ahead and add all these negative keywords, aren't making money with your ads, and you need somebody to go through thousands and thousands of search terms in your search terms report since you've started running your account, we specialize in going and doing that. Went through 100,000 plus search terms, generated a list of negative keywords of 25,000 strong, added it, and then cleaned up all the stuff that the ad shouldn't show up for but do. And because the client was running broad match keywords, but if you went ahead and switched the broad match to phrase match, it would screw up all the machine learning that the campaigns had with the broad match. Because they were running the broad match so long, they were stuck to keep running it, at least until we had new campaigns that we could run that are running in phrase match but slowly scaled up, and get some data behind those, which is typically what you have to do. Otherwise, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid, and switching broad to phrase match is going to really screw up all the learnings that account has accumulated over time. Anyway, if you want somebody that can just handle it, that understands all this stuff, what I'm telling you here inside and out, contact us at guaranteeppc.com. We'll offer you a guarantee of increase in profitability from your campaign to offset any of the management fees that we charge, and we can do all this for you basically for free, literally speaking, because we don't charge until we get you the results, the minimum results up front, and there's no back charging either. Reach out to me if you want a free consultation. If we offer that, I can speak to you briefly and get you some estimates as to what our systems, including the one that I'm talking about to you here today, would do for you. If we've worked in your niche market before and you like managing your own ads, we also sell ad templates. If we've worked, we worked in the gastric bypass surgery space. If you wanted to shortcut your way to success there, we can give you the working ads, landing pages, campaign templates, all of it that work for your niche market. You literally just copy paste those into your account and get the same cost per lead that we were getting, and currently, should I say, still get. And then with that, you would also be able to know the cost per lead that you would get with it, because we're going to tell you it up front, show you what we have in terms of the template, physically show you the landing page template and all that. And then you would know what you're getting into before you ever bought the template from us, and you would save yourself so much time and money just getting to the gold-plated version that we use in your space after years of optimizing ads in your space. There's no scenario where you're going to get it done cheaper and easier buying the template from us. But with that said, you can also reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com as well. You can use those templates to sell leads, like flip leads, generate leads, mark them up, sell them to companies. We've got many people doing that with our templates already. You can use our templates to start a brand new business if you didn't know what to get into. Starting with an active template to run an ad campaign that already works in one geographic area and you're going to run it in another is like the easiest way to start off a business. If you were looking for another thing to invest in, it's like the best way to start up a business. It's like having a business on training wheels, basically, essentially up front. Anyway, with that said, that is the negative keyword formula that I use on every campaign that I literally run now. Okay? With that said, okay, if your ads aren't right, your landing pages aren't right, you don't know the rest of the formula, you don't know how to construct a good offer. Many people just say, here's what I do, hire us or don't hire us, or here's my product, buy or don't buy. And really what they needed is a good offer. Limited time, download this discount code, we'll give you 50% off your initial purchase, and that would be there to make your campaign work. I talk about all these small nuances on this channel, and therefore you should subscribe to this channel. It's going to give you everything you need, all those individual little things that you need to make millions of dollars running ads for your business is on this channel, and it comes from somebody who's actively running ads all the time, versus most of these yahoos who sell courses and don't actually run any ads, and they're blowing smoke up your behind. They're not giving you actual real information that you need. You need somebody who's really running ads full time to give you active information that's going to help you make millions of dollars running ads. You cannot read the documentation and know how to do it that Google provides and know how to do anything. And even if they could, you could do that yourself. And that's literally, I'm in this space, I know what these guys are doing. They're not running ads, or they have an agency and they outsource all the work. They aren't actively, like I am doing at our agency, working 40 hours a week doing ad strategy. So you should subscribe. You should also check out our blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. It's a blog that I write personally and has the strategies we use to guarantee results for our clients, step by step, with screenshots, with everything. If you haven't checked that out, you should check that out as well. So now, one other thing to mention as far as negative keywords, getting back into the content here, we use also negative keywords for siloing, because we use single keyword ad campaigns at our agency for all the campaigns we run, because it is universally the way to just blow all the competition away, to have the automatic best click-through rates, best conversion rates in our space, which you need to have Google favor you and pour as many customers on your business as physically possible. And with that, single keyword ad groups, if you don't know what it is, it's to have an ad group for every keyword you're targeting. And with that, you need to know the few hundred different ways that people search for what you do. And sometimes it's just a few dozen, but most of the time it's a few hundred. You target them individually with a custom handwritten ad each time, and you handpick the page on your site to send them to, or you create a unique landing page to send them to. So it's laser targeted to what was on the ad and to what they originally searched for. You can win almost by default by just understanding single keyword ad groups. But most common question I get about it on this channel is, but Corey, how do you make sure the right ad shows up for the right person, given that the way that Google's keyword matching system works is it's not, even if you have things in your keywords an exact match, if you're targeting red shoes, it might show up for big red shoes. Correct at a surface level, but if you know what I'm talking about and got the rest of the information of what we use to prevent that at our agency, which is negative keyword siloing. If you have keyword best red shoes and just red shoes, the ad group that has red shoes is going to have the negative keyword at the ad group level best. That will prevent the ad group that's dedicated for targeting red shoes to have the ad show up for anybody using the word best with the keyword red shoes, if that makes sense. So with that, you're basically shaping how the ads trigger and for what keywords. And it's not perfect. I will 100% admit that. That helps a ton. Make sure the right ad you have set up to target a certain keyword shows up for what it's supposed to and what it's not supposed to. Get the full benefit of using single keyword ad groups. For what little it doesn't actually do for you in terms of making sure the right ad shows up for the right keyword and the right searcher, the algorithm's going to eventually figure out that this ad that was meant for this keyword gets the highest click-through rate. So therefore, I'm going to run this ad permanently for this search, this keyword search. We're going to have this ad actually show up for it. It'll ultimately come to the conclusion as to what you were trying to have the system do for you anyway, because it's only at the end of the day, Google just wants to have ads that have high click-through rates and high conversion rates for their users, because that's going to make them the most money long-term. That is, get people to appreciate what they found in terms of the ads that were presented, bought something, so next time they have a demand for something else, they come to Google, they're going to be more likely to click on an ad in the future because last time they saw an ad and clicked through it, it provided what they wanted. More easy than to click on an organic result, or so is the thought. And if you can help Google do that, they're going to lay all the benefit that they possibly can on you, because you're helping them come to the end goal that they're trying to get to, which is people are addicted to use Google and clicking on ads to find what they want. And with that said, so as per what we were talking about, negative keyword wise, we'll have ad group level negative keywords to make sure our ads show up for the right keyword and searches that they're supposed to show up for. And then on top of that, we have campaign/account level negative keywords that cover the generic stuff that we don't want our ad to show up for. That's not about having the right ad show up for the right searches, but to have our ad not show up for people in general, because these people are not customers that we can sell to, if you will. But anyway, if that is not clear, you can leave me a comment in the comment section. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. You can ask me any ad-related question you'd like. It doesn't have to be about negative keywords. That's just what we were talking about here today, but it can be about anything. And so don't be shy. I love giving back to my viewers and answering their questions, because you're helping our channel grow, and really appreciate that, helping us succeed here. But with that said, I'll wrap everything up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said negative keywords was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.